Hi guys, my name is Nonima Tikela. Welcome to my YouTube channel. So today I want us to talk about the statement that was said by Ujad Rata that did not sit well with me, perhaps with everybody else. I don't know, but something is okay, something is always wrong with Judge Rata's utterances. Um, we do know that in South Africa, judges are not required to agree with counsel, but they are required to follow the law, apply the law, explain how things work, etc., etc., and also resolve things and always be on the side of fairness for everyone involved, not dismiss things without engaging and understanding what is happening in the situation. Ujad Rata was way above, I don't know what. Even his pay grade is not there. Let me drink my drink. Is not even there, but he was too much. Already, that statement is already very strong, and it's giving alarming, shocking, and it needs people to scrutinize it. Firstly, let's talk about the judicial accountability tone. There is something wrong with Judge Rata's tone, and nobody speaks about it enough. Or perhaps we do speak about it on our streets, but where it matters the most, no one speaks about it. Judges are not required to agree with counsel, right? But they are required to apply the law and to explain how objections are resolved, especially where fair trial rights are implicated. You can't be dismissing engagement instead of managing the case in a good way. You can't do that. You can't. And also, a judge does not have to side with the counsel, but the law requires reasons, particularly when fair trial rights are at stake. Dismissing and silence is not efficiency. Dismissal without engagement is abdication. Ujad Rata needs to do better. He needs to do better. And yes, judges are not obliged to agree with lawyers, be it state lawyers or defense lawyers. They are obliged to apply the law and explain their rulings. This is something that Ujad Rata fails dismally at. He doesn't even care, even when the constitutional fair trial rights are implicated. He doesn't care. He does what he wants to do. He bulldozes his own views, versions, and whatever, and do what he wants to do in that courtroom. He brushes off objections aside without reasons, and he doesn't even apply anything that makes you believe, okay, he is good at case management. He's a case manager that is absolutely not good at all. I don't even understand. At this point, you will end up questioning, how did he become a judge, Konje? How did he become a judge? No, man. And when objections are touching constitutional rights are dismissed without reasons, that is not case management, guys. That is abdication of judicial duty. He does this without fail. And in a case as serious as the Senzo Meyiwa trial, abdication is not a procedural flaw. It is a warning sign. Something is screaming, I am very wrong. Something is very wrong. Ujad Rata, and he seemingly doesn't care about any of those things. He doesn't care. So I'm sitting here thinking maybe when silence comes from the bench, abdication in the Senzo Meyiwa trial does not count. What is this? In every criminal trial, one principle stands above personalities, above pressure, above public emotion. It doesn't matter how emotional we can get, we can scrutinize and we can put pressure on the people that are dealing with the case. A judge is not required to agree with counsel. Doesn't matter which side, be it state, be it defense, he's not allowed to do that. His duty is not optional, it is constitutional. And when that duty is abandoned quietly, procedurally, Without explanation, the danger is not delay, the danger is collapse. Because in South African law, silence from the bench is never neutral. You have taken a side. One thing that is required by the Constitution is that Section 35, whatever you do, when it comes to Section 35, Constitution guarantees every accused person the right to a fair trial. Not a fast trial, not a convenient trial, not a fair trial. No, sorry, not a fast trial, not a convenient trial, a fair trial. That is what it needs. That includes the right to challenge everything that is called evidence in that courtroom. The right to object to unlawful procedure, and crucially, the right to have those objections properly considered and ruled upon, which is something Judge Ratta fails on. Dismal. And also we have Section 34. Section 34 guarantees access to courts, meaningful adjudication, not rubber stamping. And Section 165 makes one thing clear: the courts are independent, subject only to constitutional law, and the law must apply. Constitution and the law must apply the law without fear, favor, or prejudice. That is what it cares about. But independence is not silence. Independence carries with it a duty to give reasons. This is something which Judge Ratta fails every day. He fails, guys. Oh, he fails. And it is his duty to give reasons, not a courtesy or a command. It's his duty. South African courts have been clear for decades. In Mphahlele versus First National Bank, the Constitutional Court held the giving reasons is one of the fundamentals of good administration and judicial accountability. Sizayithini lento kaJudge Ratta ongafuna u-accounta, guys? Who becomes hostile when he is being asked questions and clarifications? If President of the Republic of South Africa, in that one, in the President of Republic of South Africa versus SARFU, the court explained judicial legitimacy depends on transparency, and transparency begins with reasons. In criminal law, the principle is even stricter. In State versus Roll, the appellate division warned a failure to give proper reasons is itself a misdirection and may justify interference on appeal. Why? Because without reasons, no one can tell whether the law was applied, whether the rights were respected, or whether mistakes crept in unnoticed. And most importantly, without reasons, the accused cannot meaningfully appeal. Silence from the bench does not protect efficiency. It destroys accountability. Objections are not noise. They are constitutional alarms. In criminal trials, objections are not technical interruptions. They are constitutional alarms. They signal possible unlawful evidence, violations of dignity, coerced confessions, breaches of fair trial rights. The Constitutional Court in State versus Zuma made this unmistakable clear. A fair trial is not procedural formality. It is a foundation of legitimacy. When objections touching constitutional rights are raised, the judge is not permitted to dismiss them casually. The judge must engage with the argument, explain why, how, where, apply the law, and explain the ruling after. Because in law, reasons are the bridge between power and justice. Remove the bridge, and all that remains is authority without accountability. And this is something that Judge Ratta lacks in, guys. Let's talk about case management versus abdication. Modern courts speak of a case management, efficiency, speed, clearing backlogs, but the Constitutional Court has warned efficiency can never override fairness. Case management is about controlling time. Justice is about controlling power. When objections are brushed aside without engagement, when constitutional points are dismissed with a wave of the hand, when rulings come without reasons, that is not case management. That is abdication. And abdication from the bench is not a small procedural mistake. It is a structural failure. All of this matters in the Senzo Meyiwa trial because this is not an ordinary case for starters. Umnisi usually says that. This is one of the most important murder trials in democratic history of South Africa. A national symbol, a decade-long wound, a case already scarred by allegations of torture, disputed confessions, missing evidence, compromised investigations, and claims of interference. All of these things are there in the Senzo Meyiwa case. In a case like this, the court's duty is heavier, not tighter, not light. Not tighter, not lighter, because when the public confidence is already fragile, judicial silence does not preserve neutrality. It deepens suspicion, and every unexplained ruling becomes another crack in legitimacy. Guys, you want to tell me Judge Ratha does not respect the entire country to an extent that he knows people are watching the case? That one, it's a short thing he knows. But Judge Ratha still behaves the way he does. Hi, man. And Lentolena, it's going to result in appeal courts, and it will have consequences nobody is talking about. Here is the legal reality few are willing to say out loud. A pattern of unexplained dismissals, a record without proper reasons, a trial where constitutional objections were not meaningfully engaged. This is not just bad optics. It is fatal ground for appeal. In State versus Vusak, the Supreme Court of Appeal held where the trial court misdirects itself on constitutional rights, the entire proceedings may be set aside. Years of testimony, years of evidence, years of trauma, all at risk because of not because of the accused, but because the bench failed to explain itself. That is where Ratha is. And let us be precise, no judge is required to agree with counsel. No judge is required to rule in favor of the defense, but every judge is required to show that the law was applied, that the rights were considered, and that justice was not assumed but demonstrated. Dismissal without engagement is not firmness. It is not authority. It is abdication. And in a trial meant to deliver justice for Senzo Meyiwa, abdication from the bench does not merely affect procedure. It threatens legitimacy of the entire verdict that will come. When this case eventually ends, when a verdict is delivered, when appeals are filed, one question will not go away. Did the court merely manage the trial, or did it truly adjudicate it? Because the constitutional democracies, justice is not measured by outcome alone. It is measured by reasons. And where reasons are missing, justice itself stands on stable ground. The Senzo Meyiwa trial is at risk. What are your thoughts, guys, when it comes to all of this? Let's talk in the comment section. I want to hear your views. Thank you so much. I will see you on our next video. Bye-bye.